thank you, very helpful. Right, the next item is the proposal to widen Strand Lane, which is an opportunity that has arisen as a result of the building of the fantastic building in the square. So, Pauline, would you like to introduce this?
Yes, because this...
but before you do, maybe I should tell you that I've added another recommendation to the list.
yeah, and I was going to suggest...
Which is, well, it's not a recommendation, it's a prelude to the main, a preface to the main resolution, subject to the Chief Executive being satisfied that the Greater Christchurch Regeneration Act would not deliver the benefits more quickly, then the following resolutions will apply. So it may be that there are provisions under the Greater Christchurch Regeneration Act that could actually produce a quicker result, and so we're just going to get that checked, because we could do it through a compulsory acquisition under the Act if it was possible, given that parties all agree it may be a faster track mechanism, but we haven't raised it with DPMC as an option, so we'd like to do that work first. But I don't think any of us want to hold up the proposal, so so that's the idea, is to see if there's a faster way of doing it at the same time as looking at the further actions.
Yeah, and look, we had robust discussion at the committee, and including that option, and we were very aware that although the risk around this was very small, that it still sat there. We looked for all sorts of alternatives, including the Regeneration Act, and we had advice at that time that it was not the appropriate.
Yes, but that was section 71. There are other sections of the Act that may be applicable.
And that is why that we, and it wasn't a unanimous decision, but it was led by me to actually refer this discussion and decision making to the full council in light of that risk, and also knowing that it was a full week later, we would have time to come up with perhaps another option, which you have just done today.
Yeah.
So the committee basically was supportive of this whole concept, the fact that it supports the Council Lane Design Guide 2007. It's consistent with Safer Christchurch Strategy 2015 to 21. It supports the planned connectivity from Cathedral Square through Hereford Street to the BNZ Centre through to the Cashel Mall. It's going to make the lane 6 metres wide. That'll be enhanced with amenity values, and it's going to add to the whole lane look and connectivity to the whole city. It's going to be fantastic. The other issue that came up at the committee too was the concern about the City Council land where it was the old public toilet site, and the actual need for public toilets in the square. Now, staff advice to us is that actually is not the best site to locate public toilets for various reasons. However, there is a budget there of, I think it's around 690,000 sitting there for public toilets. And so we're probably looking at picking up that work to see what the progress is in identifying a site. And also the committee wondered if perhaps, should this sale go ahead, that any funds from that could be thrown into the public toilet project. Not into the public toilet itself, but into the public toilet project. And so I think that basically rounds off the committee discussion. We're basically supportive, but we wanted to leave that decision to today, and I think it was a good decision because the Mayor's come up with another option there. Yeah, I'm happy to move that today.
Very good. Seconded by Dion. Yeah, sorry. Questions? Right, Tim.
Thank you. I think that the key thing here, it's saying it's not the best place for toilets. The toilets actually there worked extremely well. I mean, there were always issues with toilets in the square. The underground ones were extremely special, let's be honest. The ones the social issues around the toilets are always going to be a problem in this environment, and I know them well because I did lots of events in the square, so I know them face to face. I worked with the staff intimately, and they were not paid enough, I have to say, for what they had to put up with. But my concern is that we have visions. We're at Regen with a $90 million plan. We've got all these plans, but I don't want to see us ending up with no place for the toilets, because they are a vital part of the central city and the cathedral square. Whether you like it or not, the two key things are parking and toilets in anything you do. So is there any vision for, or any thought of where the toilets are going to end up or could be? I totally agree with this widening the Strand lane. Any of the lanes reduces crime, etc., and the possibilities of. But what's the vision?
So work's starting on that currently, and there's already been a few discussions with surrounding landowners. I mean, the ideal would be not to have a standalone building in the middle of the square, but to tie it in with a development, one of the surrounding ones. There's also other options. For example, where the temporary toilets are now, there's also a tram stop close by, is redesigning the tram stop, for example, and incorporating them into the back of that. So there are options there without creating an eyesore or putting them in a place that's sort of deemed not safe. So we are looking currently. In addition to the 690,000 that's there at the moment, there is further funding in the parks budget in a couple of years' time to once we have something, and that'll be coming back to committee. Because
those ones where the old toilets where they were the first ones where families actually felt safe. They had changing and all that kind of thing. So that is actually a really important part. So it may not have been what people, as in the designers, think for the square, but irrelevant of all that, it's about people feeling safe using them, and Absolutely. They were the first toilets in Cathedral Square that actually people did feel safe. Yeah. So we've got to be very conscious of that. And let's face it, 690,000, that won't really cover the design, will it?
That's correct. And out of that initial funding, we've already purchased those temporary ones, which are sitting there now, and you know they've got quite a life left in at the moment, and that'll give us time to do this whole thing properly.
I just have concerns, but thank you.
Yanni?
Yeah, I had a similar question, because we've actually got a policy where we're required to, in terms of our policy, a well-identified 24-hour public toilet, which includes baby change facilities, changing rooms, showers and baggage storage facilities, be provided in or close to Cathedral Square, and to standards that enhance the city's image as a tourist destination. So that's our policy, and we don't seem to have any plan in place for it. And if we sell this land, I can't see where else in Cathedral Square, what land that we actually own, that we would be able to provide the toilets.
And in addition to that, there's actually, when you look at a map of all of the publicly available toilets, now I'm talking up until 9 o'clock at night.
Right. I'm just talking about
there is a very good distribution of them through the central city, because there's a number of public buildings and businesses that have toilets open and provide a lot of those facilities as well. So we're taking all that into account.
So in terms of the cost of putting in something that meets our policy, which is for 24-hour access, we don't have sufficient budget. Is that what we're hearing?
I'm quite confident that we do have sufficient budget. There's budget sitting in the parks unit budget for, I think, from year 4 onwards.
Right.
For enough money to cover this project.
And would that include land purchase?
I don't think it'll require land purchase.
So if we agree
we'll have to bring some options back to committee.
So if we agree to this today, the land that we have around Cathedral Square that could be suitable.
If you look at the land in that lane and you look at the Safer Christchurch guidelines, you wouldn't be putting a set of toilets in there today.
No.
So you're envisaging more something, a standalone building in the middle of Cathedral Square?
With better profile, better passive surveillance and
well lit.
Yeah, it's tucked. Currently, it was tucked away. They may have been a better option than previous toilets, but the reality is they were tucked up a side lane. It was quite dark, and it's not a good position. Yeah.
And just the final question. I mean, obviously, the 24-hour toilet issue has been an issue prior to the earthquake with significant hospitality in the central city. As that's coming back, we've got Bus Exchange, Litchfield Street, the library. Have we looked at making any of those 24-hour to kind of just as an interim?
I haven't looked at that yet, no. But of
Right.
course, all the hospitality industry are also required to provide toilets for when they're open as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. And the ones that we currently have in Cathedral Square, are they 24-hour?
Yes, there is those
The
temporary ones.
ones.
Yes, and
They
there's
are
also
24-hour.
there's also a 24-hour one down at Margaret Mayhew.
Okay, great, thanks.
Right, any other questions? I have a mover and a seconder. Is there any debate? Dion?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm really excited. Really pleased to see this come to council and see the resolution to see if we can find ways to get this done really quickly, because the groundworks are starting on that Redson building now, and that is going to be an exciting corner point or cornerstone, whatever, actually a corner piece of wood for the central city, and I'm really excited to see that building go forward and you know, bring some life and energy back into Cathedral Square. The toilet issue, you know, I'm really confident that the staff are going to come up with some sort of amazing sort of concept there around public toilets for the square, because we've got the whole redesign of the cathedral. We've got a whole lot of options there, and I'm really, you know, I think actually this could be an exciting thing for people to get involved with in the future.
Thank you. Pauline?
Yeah, I support what Dion said, and the fact is that the Hillburn site, once we take that piece of land off the eastern side of it, it actually remains a very small site for development, so it's only sensible to combine that with the site that we're declaring surplus and give that an opportunity for a much better, more creative development there, which is going to be fantastic. And I think that the public toilet issue, if we can keep an eye on that, would be really good. There could be an opportunity, as you said, for partnerships rather than having to buy land and do something. It'd be really good to do something really creative, actually, like a Honda Wasser or something, but become a tourist attraction would be wonderful. Let's seize the opportunity to be creative. So, as I said, yeah, the committee had a long, robust discussion over this, but basically supportive of it, if we can find a way through. I'm wondering if we need a time frame on 2 at all, Leanne. We don't want to hold this up, basically.
I don't think it.
But just
no,
take it as a given that it's urgent.
Yeah.
It is,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you very much.